What is up, chumps and chumpettes? I'm trying Sultai Living End again because this deck is growing on me. I'm making a few changes from the last video. I've gone to 1-1 on Superior Spider-Man and Sky Turtle. I think Sky Turtle is an effect I've been missing. Uh, and Superior Spider-Man is really good if the game drags out, but if your hand fills up with 4-drops, you're less good at making the game drag out. In the sideboard, I'm once again too poor for another Dismember on Magic Online, so I'm trying Shriek Maw. Although I actually think this card might have legs because it hits every creature in the new Brood Scale Eldrazi deck. Other than that, no changes from the last video, so let's get into the games. Round number 1, this hand is a pretty good 6. I'll keep. Unfortunately, we have Living End. Maybe we can get rid of it somehow. Formidable Speaker, Wistfulness, etc. So this deck has taken me some getting used to because your main color really is like no longer blue, and your best fetch land or your best fetchable land is no longer your blue-green ones. You have to optimize around turn 2 double black for Deceit when it's in your hand, but even when it's not, sometimes it might still be right to do that. Looks like our opponent is going to Thoughtseize us here. A little bit unfortunate. I have to use this Generous Ant. And I have to fetch in such a way I could turn to Deceit, I guess. Do I have to? I mean, I have 2 green for Endurance. They're almost guaranteed to take Deceit. I'm going to give myself the chance. But I'm actually just going to Surveil, I think, next turn. I mean, I have double blue, double green. I can't do both of those unless I wanted to get... Well, I don't even have a Hedge Maze in this deck. So I guess Underground Mortuary, give up on the 2-drop. If I draw a 2-drop next turn, then punished. But I need to find a 3rd land, so I think Surveil has value here. All right, after thinking about it quite a bit, the opponent takes Endurance. So I got a little punished, I guess. I still think, unless they're a very graveyard-dependent deck, the best card there is Deceit by like a lot. But we don't know what the opponent's doing. Maybe this is some sort of graveyard strategy. And I do need that 3rd land, regardless. Well, Overlord of the Bailmer can get Generous Ant, so yeah, I guess I'll take that for now. Like if I bin that Overlord of the Bailmerk and then I don't draw land, and this Deceit doesn't actually dig any cards, like that's pretty bad. This appears to be a slow deck also. Gloomlake Verge, I believe this is... It's either very weird Thoughtseize Merfolk or it's like blue-black control, which is making a comeback. Which, my jaw hit the floor when I saw recently the blue-black frog was doing very well. I guess it makes sense though if there's a lot of combo decks kind of running riot. Opponent Bowmasters me. Okay. That's not the worst thing they could have done. I'm going to take my Ent here, I believe. Unless I hit Frehley's, in which case I'll probably take that. No, I just need to take the land. Also, this deck tends to make my computer blow up. My computer cannot handle Magic Online if too many things start happening. So like when there's late game and like a huge Living End resolve, sometimes my computer just crashes. You wouldn't think that in 2026 a relatively new high-tech computer would have that problem, but I think it's a Magic Online thing. Third, Force of Negation. Not what the doctor ordered. I think what I want is Overgrown Tomb, so I can Deceit the opponent. Kind of a painful mana base this game. When you draw the filter lands, it's very not painful. You can get basics in this kind of situation. Opponent tapped 2 blue mana, thought for like a minute, and then let this spell resolve. I guess I'll do these in the right order. Alright. Usually you want to click on your evoke trigger first so that your deceit is still in play while the Thoughtseize part is resolving. Say we've got a Planeswalker, Spell Snare, which is irrelevant, Drown in the Lock, which is pretty good, and another Bowmasters. I think because, well, they have Fatal Push, so we're going to play Formidable Speaker next turn. They're not going to have Drown because I'm going to take it. They're going to attack. They'll get to Fatal Push Formidable Speaker or Charlotte's Agent. I mean, yeah, they kind of have to draw something. Probably shouldn't have taken that much time thinking about that. They can't even do anything with this blue mana, can they? No, they accidentally tapped. Well, I think our opponent had a computer goof or something. They tapped 2 blue mana. They probably meant to tap a black mana. But it's too late to go back because something happened. So, sorry to the opponent. They should probably have another Bowmasters in play. But these are high stakes internet blood sports. So. Does this Planeswalker have ninjutsu for like less than... Yeah, okay, they're ninjutsuing. And I'm going to take 4. They get to activate. I can't counter. Oh well, at least they're tapped out. The opponent, hopefully for their sake, drew Force of Negation or Subtlety. They're going to draw a card here. Obviously, hopefully for us, they just draw like stone nothing. What do they bin? They've been a Psychic Frog. Not too threatening. Alright, there's the second Living End. And before I cast this, okay, I didn't mill any over. That's good. My hand is just a terrible full house. Get the Shardless Agent. No shards detected. So they can Fatal Push down this Formidable Speaker and get in for a lot of damage. I guess I'll just force that. Like, what else could they cast this turn? They could counterspell if they drew one. All right, they choose not to donate their Bowmasters to the graveyard for free. I guess I wouldn't have blocked. Now I get to... Do I even want to attack Kaito? I don't think I do. Although it depends on what I draw. Sky Turtle, I don't know, do I want to attack that? I don't think this card matters. No, I don't think it matters at all. And I think my graveyard's good enough. I can just go. Did they not use their Planeswalker last turn? No, they had to plus. Right. No, they didn't plus. I don't know what they did. Well, now I can Sky Turtle my Shardless Agent, which is better than Kaito would be. Okay, they have Force. That was my last living end. Deck is not helping me out here. Now I need an endurance. But that's why I did that before combat. Okay, at least this Overlord's coming down and being a problem. I can rebuy my Endurance with Sky Turtle. That kind of takes up my whole turn unless I draw a green card, and even then I don't have another Cascade spell. I think that Endurance would just be good here, though. I don't think they're going to do too much burn damage, so I'll block like that. Now they have to play another creature because I can attack this for a lot. Remember, they still have Bowmaster Spell Snare. So they still have double block. I don't even know if I want to double attack next turn. The opponent's like going to time out at this pace, which is fine with me. Timeouts on Magic Online are hilarious. And they're choosing to cast Bowmasters before I can untap. Also, they can finish off Shardless Agent. Okay, I guess that's pretty good. Yeah, I realize I could have seen this coming. I also just didn't want to take a bunch of damage. This thing deals in batches of 3, so they could have pinged me down 2-3. Alright, another land wouldn't be that bad, actually. There's a Kaito. That is a potential problem for them. I'm actually just going to hang tight here. We can decide what to do later. See, the best thing in my graveyard to get, I don't even know, Endurance maybe? I'm talking about with Sky Turtle. Kaito could get Psychic Frog. Okay. I probably would have done this after blocks. Oh, that was their turn. You know, the game's taking so long, I'm kind of just forgetting whose turn it is. Shieldred's Edict. I guess we have to counter that. And Spider-Man can't be cast guaranteed next turn, so it has to go. I can pick up an Endurance here. It's really a shame that my last card's frickin' Living End. Otherwise, I could get that Force Negation out of my graveyard. Like, wow. This is just a slow, miserable death. Kind of like Norm Macdonald. Okay, he's tapping my creature, killing his Planeswalker, which actually solved a big problem for me. Two stun counters is a lot. Actually, don't see how I get out of this. Opponent attacks with no regard for endurance. Can't say I blame him. Do the thing I have to do to live. Any 3-mana creature would be a welcome sight. Well, it's not going to get a living end, but it does prolong the game for a little bit. Maybe they'll scoop. Hopefully they can't attack. They still have a Spell Snare in their hand. Yeah, their only card is that Spell Snare. Any creature poses lethal. Psychic Frog, not lethal yet. And I'm not sure I have anything that beats this next turn. I can't even bounce it with its Deceit. Endurance would be a good draw. No. Oh well, I'm still going to make the opponent waste their time. The opponent has 12 minutes to, hopefully they need to win another 2 games. Well, I don't know, you know what I mean. In come the good counter spells, out comes Force of Negation because they play on my turn. Shriek Maw, no good. I think Dismember is good. I think Harvester's good. I don't think I care about Ashiok. They're not really a graveyard deck. This doesn't hit the Planeswalker. And what can come out against kind of a control deck? Kavera might actually be good if I hit a Psychic Frog or something. I mean, this just kind of poses a lot of problems. Against hard control, we tend to take these out. Let's see, what's bad? I guess against Bowmaster's Wistfulness is kind of bad. All right, what do we think about this hand? This is pretty good. I'll keep, I guess. It's a little slow. I can double land cycle next turn, though. They can't Thoughtseize away my land cycle. Actually, this hand's not that good. It'd be nice if it had something to do. If I draw a land, it has a turn 2 play, but either way, it's got turn 2 plays. The Verge. That can only add blue at the moment. There's the one Kavero we were worried about. So Swamp Cycle for a Watery Grave and shock it in. I can get a Breeding Pool with this Generous Net, and we are off to the races. I'm going to resist the urge to just fire off Wistfulness because Orcish Bowmasters can do a lot of damage. But if I need to, I will. Hopefully I can just go to 5. And what's nice is Kavero can just be a 4-mana kicked Deceit for both modes. Now Spellbomb, I don't really care, plus that gives Wistfulness something to do. Taking some damage here, that's okay. They might be holding up Mystical Dispute. If it happens, it happens. We're not an overly reliant deck on the graveyard. I know that sounds crazy to say for a living end, but we really just kind of are mid-range control, and we have the option to kill with the graveyard combo. The opponent's going so slow. That was foolish of me to play that breeding pool so quickly. But the opponent's going so slow, I'm actually just gonna start with Overlord. I realize I'm not that was bad tapping. I could have left up Mystical Dispute, but I don't have it. So all I told my opponent was I don't have Mystical Dispute, which that was a misplay. I don't know. Sometimes I struggle with which 2-drop to play. There's Subtlety. We just wasted a whole bunch of their cards. Quantum Riddler, get out of here. Kind of shocked they didn't Quantum Riddler on 2. If I want to leave this on top, I need to use Troll now. I think I do want to top that because next turn I'll play Kavero as long as I don't get basic Forest here, which I can't with Troll. I think I'm just going to get Swamp. That way I have a 4-drop. And I think I will top this. So my logic there is that I'm going to get a lot of value with Kavero unless they fire off their Spell Bomb. Once they fire off their Spell Bomb, that Overlord's good again. And if I just draw a land, I could just slam the Overlord. What's Magic Online, so there's not really a slam feature, but that's how it would feel. Harbinger of the Seas, well, I have the perfect answer to that by very good fortune. And I can even play my Deceit next turn also. Shriekmaw would also be good here, now that I know they have Harbinger of the Seas, which is a very huge... What is this? It's like a half stone... I don't know what that is. First things first... I think I actually want to Deceit my opponent. While they still have cards in their hand. Sometimes you run the risk if you wait too long on this, they'll just empty their hand and you can't really do much with it. Bowmasters, Consign. I'll take Consign, yeah. I'm not really afraid of Bowmasters at the moment. And Overlord, it just resupplies the graveyard even if they fire off Spell Bomb. So. Opponent drew a land. Or do we know about that? Yeah, we knew about that. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. Black, black, blue, blue. Going to target Deceit. They have to use Spell Bomb here. Nice, they didn't. So the way that works is it's not the copy is not a trigger you can respond to. You have to use Spell Bomb with that on the stack. So click the black mode first, then the blue mode, then whatever. That way you can make them discard the thing that they pick up. Did they draw? No, they didn't. I was going to say, did they draw another Consign of Memory? That'd be kind of cool for them if they did. But it is only Orcish Bowmasters. Did they draw another Bowmasters? Okay, they drew 2 Bowmasters. That's a little bit painful. They can still activate Spell Bomb. Yeah, this is the Deceit problem. You either exile graveyards or you discard it. Alright, I don't think the opponent played that properly, but we'll take that. And it's hard to remember, but Cavero is always a 4/4, Superior Spider-Man. When I first played with this card, I thought it would copy all the characteristics, but it stays a 4/4. So I've made some 4/4 Johnnies, 4/4 Psychic Frogs, 4/4 Emrakul the Promised End, etc. No way they attack. Yeah, we are just stomping right now. Not going to play this Wistfulness, though. Wistfulness is a little bit of a problem. I think I'll get the basic forest. I think I have enough lands. I'm just going to wait a turn. And I'm not going to attack, because look how far ahead I am. I think initiating a damage race would be very reckless. And my whole graveyard is a buffet right now. Subtlety's a little bit of a problem. I don't want to bounce it, though. I could get Harvester of Misery, actually. That might be good. So the opponent gets an attack. They only send with Subtlety, thank goodness. Not representing any tricks. Definitely not bouncing the Subtlety. Maybe if they spend mana. They do not. Let's go get Harvester of Mr. E. Still representing no mystical, I don't know why. Okay. Let's clean up this board. If they ripped another Subtlety off the top, it could be a problem. Looks like they drew... Did they draw? Oh, they drew Drown in the Lock, it appears. Drown in the Lock. I kind of think they should have... Mana value? Oh, that's a 6/6. They couldn't cast it last turn. Okay. They've drowned me. At least it wasn't another Subtlety. Gonna take the opportunity to get rid of the Bowmasters. Took an extra damage there. Hopefully I don't regret that. Endurance. Okay, so because I drew Endurance, now I'm going to just play a Suspended Overlord. Try to hit Shardless Agent. If I don't, I still have Endurance to block. No Shardless Agents. I'll take another Endurance. Endurance is quite strong. And I'm actually going to cast it on my turn. Because they know about it, they won't attack into it. And this gives them fewer chances to have Subtlety in hand. They don't know about the second Endurance. So it'd be nice to have Overlord ticking, but we're struggling here. I mean, not ticking. It'd be nice to just have it in play, but then we'd be at 2. Opponent ripped a land. What we want to see is no attacks from the opponent. Okay. Mystical, not a bad draw. What is the play? I think the play is dig once again. Same as last turn. How's our living end situation? Still no living ends or Shardless Agents in the graveyard. I think, do I take Sky Turtle now to get Formidable Speaker? Or do I just take Formidable Speaker? Nah, that what I just said made no sense. All right. Still not attacking. I mean, like, it kind of made sense. They could ninjutsu and then Sky Turtle could bounce. That's kind of what I was getting at there. But Sky Turtle with the intent of picking up Formidable Speaker, that don't make no damn sense. Cast another Endurance. This is in case Living End fails. They have Subtlety, and I do not have Mystical Dispute mana. But I do have Cast another Endurance off the top. What is their last card? Do we know? No. I think I have to top this. And I think I have to cast it now. At least if they tap out for like a big Wanshiton or something, maybe we'll counter it. We've been representing no mysticals this entire game. Opponent draws a land. I would love to draw a land. But I'm not going to cast a Wistfulness to do it. I could just cast this for only green. I don't want to do that. If I cast this for 2 blue, I go to 3. Sure, I'll cast Speaker. They could consign this trigger. They don't. Pick up the Shardless Agent. And sit peacefully back. Opponent's drawing a lot of lands. John Avon over there. Alright, so I can beat Force of Negation. The only card I can't really beat right now is Consign to Memory. But, I mean, when is that not the case? Alright, draw our second pizza land. Do you guys like my lands, by the way? I got these just for you guys. Let's cast... Do I want to, like, leave up my basics? I don't think I need this land. Let's cast... Or this one. Let's Shardless Agent before combat, because I don't want to donate anything to their graveyard. And then even if this fails, I still get all these creatures plus Overlord coming down. They could have No, they don't have anything. All right. All right, now I've got a lot of triggers. The opponent should probably just scoop to save time. Target them. And Bailmerk. I think I'll take Subtlety. I was thinking of ways I could lose instead of ways I could win more. My own Shardless Agent. No, I don't have any. They would die. You know, I was thinking about a funny situation that used to come up in old Living End days. If your graveyard was Deadshot, Minotaur, Fairy Macabre, Shriekmaw, if you Living Ended and the opponent didn't have anything, your Shriekmaw would kill your Minotaur and your Minotaur would kill your Fairy. You'd only have a Shriekmaw left in play. Isn't that funny? I thought it was funny. Leave a comment below if you think that's funny. This game is so long. Oh my gosh. Watch the opponent have Damnation. I don't know why they played that out. They're running out of time. That hand sucks. I'm going to mulligan. That hand is better. Not much better, but better. If we get Thoughtseized on turn 1, this hand kind of sucks. Otherwise, it's not so bad. We just need to drag this game out. We don't even need to win. No, the opponent has Thoughtseize. Oh well. There's no rule against drawing well. Let's see, I'm more likely to want to get my basic forest. Oh, there's a Shardless Agent. So I'm going to start with Delta. We do need to remember that the opponent has... I could actually get I could get basic swamp and basic forest with this hand. And then if I don't draw anything here, but I also have 2 subtleties for a Harbinger. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Basic swamp, cycle for a breeding pool. Still leaving myself the option. I'm going to play my lands like that. If they cast Bowmaster, should I just subtlety it to waste their time? I don't know if we're in that territory yet, because I do have running Cascade spells that also make creatures coming up. Remember, I don't need to fetch basic island because if they play Harbinger, all my non-basics will be islands. So I already have basic island in my hand if that's the case. I like these slow matchups. These are like my favorite, especially in paper. I'm a pretty fast player, so I don't usually go to turns even. I find this kind of Magic more enjoyable than playing against combo, where it's like if I make one mistake, the game ends abruptly. Although, I mean, that is a good skill test, I think. It's a really good format knowledge test is what it is. Now Spellbomb, do we even care? No, I don't think so. I mean, doesn't matter. They miss a land drop. I'm going to stop playing around Harbinger for the moment. Yeah, but what would I get that's any better? I'm going to get a second blue. Or am I? Nah, I need to draw another land anyway, and the odds that my next land makes blue is really high. So I'm actually going to get the basic here. See? And the odds that my next hand makes blue is really high if they have Harbinger. Yes, I will pay the 2 life, then I will Cascade. This empties their... or this makes them fire off their spell bombs sooner rather than later. I don't want to stockpile more graveyard in the face of Nile Spellbomb. I want them to use this, and then I'll continue with my plan. Do they have Consign to Memory? That's fine. I have a Forever Blocker for Bowmasters. If they attack, do I want to block Token or Bowmasters? I think Bowmasters. Picking it up again makes them waste mana. No, Ninjutsu is unblocked creature, so they can't even save it. Do they have the Harbinger? No, it's Quantum Riddler. If they have Consign to Memory, this could be a problem. But I have Sink into Stupor, but I don't have another blue land. Ugh. I'm gonna let that resolve. Although, like, thinking about that even more, one of their only ways to win this game is quickly, so they could consign this trigger. But if they consign this trigger, then I can run rampant, hopefully, with my Formidable Speaker. And if they consign this trigger, they're back down to 2 cards. Nope, they don't consign it. Okay. 5-mana Riddler is not going to help the opponent. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Force Cycler. This is a little bit risky on life total, but I'm going to get Overgrown Tomb. Cast Speaker. I could have just not played a land this turn or played Sink into Stupor, but if my opponent somehow sticks like a Quantum Riddler, I want to sink it. Should I get Endurance? Is that even better? Like, how do they win? What's their graveyard also? Their graveyard has nothing. I'll get Shardless Agent. No, I will not let you put your Bowmasters in the graveyard. I know I'm in red now, but I mean, the opponent's like way behind us. I have twice as much time as them almost. However, if my computer explodes, we could still lose on time. Is this another Riddler? Just a Psychic Frog. They have 3 cards in their graveyard. Guess Endurance might have been better there. How are they ever going to get through an Endurance? Alright, well this just kills them. What does this do? Target player's graveyard, so there's no value in letting their creatures die. They can't pay. We just have to hope they don't have a lot of good stuff for Psychic Frog. And if this is a horrible idea, I can live and end again next turn. All right, the opponent doesn't discard anything. Thank goodness. Like, they could have discarded 2. Like, they have 3 cards. What if they discarded 2 Riddlers and a Frog and just killed us? That would have been embarrassing. I'm not going to play this land yet. I might want the bounce spell. Our hotspot for top decks is at 5 mana anyway, so I'm at 4 now. I can always just play the land. All right, I like this. Now I know if I can attack or not. If they have like a bunch of Bowmasters, I'm not going to attack. They mystical? No. I'm not attacking. They're going to die to their clock. This is risky into a Bowmasters. All right, they didn't do anything. They would have discarded Bowmasters. I don't know. I'm not playing into this. I think next turn I will shock sink into Stupor and play Subtlety. Especially considering they didn't play a land and did nothing. They would have done something if they could. Nice, even better. Don't have to shock myself as hard. Now I will attack. I think this is fine. Computer's freaking out. Let's go ahead and cast Subtlety. They could have Mystical Dispute, then I have Sink into Stupor. This is great. They have the Mystical. No. This could be bad. It's going to be bad. They didn't have anything to discard to the last frog, and they haven't been playing creatures, so I'm very confident they don't have creatures in their hand. Let's just cast... No, let's just bounce this. No. There we go. They could have Force of Negation there. I guess I could have also Wistfulness there. I didn't want them to make a huge frog and attack me and put me really low. Alright, they drew and played Odawara, which could have been a critical spell for them if this, or ability for them if this game went longer. I might just like Wistfulness dig for... Yeah, let's... No, I can't. What is their graveyard situation? Bowmaster's Frog, Mine and Subtlety Troll, Deceit, Charlotte's Formidable. I think that favors me. Oh, computer dying. Oh, computer's gonna die. Can I leave up so I go green, green, and then blue? No, I can't do everything here. All right, well, we had a nice hour-long first game to start the video, and I think that's all the Magic I can play today, but see you in round number 2, whenever that is. For you guys, it's going to be right now. Round number 2, a couple of days later. I'll keep this hand. It doesn't have any free interaction, but it can at least do a living end. Maybe. Oh, we have an overgrown Tomb Gamer, and they're probably going to take our Shardless Agent here. This is probably Yawgmoth, but I'm not sure. That makes sense. Pretty bad draw there. Go ahead and try to surveil something good. All right, well, I can not... Yeah, I can. I can play it. No, I can't. Oh, well. Cannot play that for card draw. I think I'm good bottoming that Wistfulness, and I'll cast this next one next turn. It is nice that these lands don't hurt you. If you have to go fetch shock and then shock, you've just lightning, or what do they call that card? Lava axe. You've just lava axed yourself for the opponent. But if you draw one of these things, you don't have to. Not sure what the opponent's on yet. Is this hits keep coming. Is this Necro Dominance? I think this is like Necro Dominance Cosmogoyf. I'm gonna check real quick what that deck's playing. Yeah, I think this is Cosmogoyf's Necro Dominance. How does that change anything I want to do? I think I still have to use Blissfulness here, because if I let them cast a Necro Dominance, I'm just sinking to Stupering it. Is that any good? And then like next turn, I'm just like hoping. I guess if I sink into Stupor their Necro Dominance this turn, assuming they have it, that gives me an extra turn to have Wistfulness for 2 mana, draw, I don't know, maybe Force of Negation or like a Subtlety for Cosmogoyf or Shieldred. So I guess I'm playing Counterspell this turn, and I can do that with Flooded Grove. Not Counterspell even, it just bounces the card. And then maybe if I can stall long enough, I don't know, I can get up to a hard cast on one of these creatures. Alright, the opponent's doing nothing, so that was a little bit waste of a turn. It looks like they're mana screwed. They're obviously mana screwed. I wish I was advancing my plan with flash creatures, but I can't. So I'm going to try to draw some cards here. Not the best. Wish I could have drawn an Overlord there or something. All right, so now my defenses are down slightly. More than slightly. I'm just toast if they draw a land. Oh, nice. They didn't. It's also nice I'm keeping my life total up. I don't think I need Endurance. Endurance would have been good if I drew. I guess Endurance could have been good. Could have just flashed it in and held up Sink into Stupor. Alright, it has to be Smashing Time. Just gonna try to draw some free interaction here. Cancel. Doing that wrong. Alright, cast. Endurance could have been good there. Not what I needed. I think I will discard Disciple. Subtlety does keep Cosmogoyf out of play. Opponent misses land drops again. So now I can just get Shardless Agent. With Overlord or with Formidable Speaker. I think it is with Overlord. Yeah, that works. Unless they have Graveyard removal at instant speed. Or if I hit all my living ends. I'm just going to go for Shardless Agent here. I could Deceit them, but their hand is so loaded up. Like, I think they just need a land. Cast the Agent. I'm going to draw a lot of cards here off of Disciple. All right. A little bit lucky there. We didn't have it. I'm assuming this is Necrodominance Cosmogoyf. What do I want if that's the case? I'm going to go look at the deck again. All right, I think I want these Force of Vigors, and I might just want Mystical Disputes just as a just desperate measure counterspell. They have Force of Despair, so the first and even the second Living End isn't necessarily going to get the job done. They actually play Chancellor of the Dross, in which case Inevitable Betrayal becomes kind of good, but Living End also cleans up Cosmoglyphs. Shriekmaw does not. Harvester does not. Dismember probably doesn't. So what do I take out? I'm not playing any Foundation Breaker, so I'm going to take out one of those. Subtlety's not the best. I think Superior Spider-Man's a little slow. On the draw, I can trim a Troll. Guess I don't need all these Mysticals. Like, I just really want one interaction point guaranteed. Endurance, probably not important. I think I actually want a Mystical over that. I don't think Ashiok matters. And I guess Formidable Speaker lets me tutor up Deceit, so I'll play that. Definitely freestyling a little bit on this sideboard plan. This hand has interaction, but otherwise sucks. I'm gonna risk a mulligan here. I'm already on 6 cards anyway with that hand. All right, well, this one I will keep. Definitely want land. Definitely want, I think, Ent. I think I want subtlety. If I want subtlety, then I need mystical, and I think I want Overlord, so that means the putback is Troll. Opponent thought seizes. Maybe I should have kept the Troll in that case. I don't think they're going to be aggressive enough to take Generous Ent here, though. Because I get 3 looks at a land with Surveil. They probably take Overlord or Force of Vigor is my guess. No, they took the Ent. All right. Perhaps an unwise play by me, but we were on 6. Have to take some risks. See, that's why taking Ent can backfire. We are greenless at the moment. Dothy Voidwalker. Do I care? Let me surveil. I think Dothy's okay, and I think I'm going to put that on top. Really just looking for land shardless at this point. Get Breeding Pool. Turning off Deceit, but it is what it is. Perhaps unwise. Oh, okay, so I don't get anything besides Ent here. But I do get Ent. If that would have said milled this way to your hand, I would have gotten it. There are some cards that say that. But Dothy sent everything to exile immediately. Opponent does not know about Force of Negation. So they are incentivized to just fire off here if they have anything. Or if they have Necrodominance. Is this really what I'm playing against, though? I don't know if it is. I don't know if... Hang on. No, this isn't. Yeah, okay, it is Necrodominance. All right. Confused the crap out of me. All right, well, because I don't have another land, I can't really force this. Well, let me think about that. I only have one green card. Even though I would rather force a Vigor, but I guess I gotta do this. And I can't hold up Mystical next turn, so I don't know. Well, now I could have held up. Still going to Surveil. Oh, I can't. I already got my Surveil lands. Guess I should have played the blue land there, but I already showed them that. Actually, I think using it there was just a big mistake. Yeah, that was a huge mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking I wanted to Surveil, but I already got my Surveil land out of the deck. It's taking me some getting used to realize I don't have Hedge Maze in the deck anymore. Thoughtseize anyway. And they appear to not have Necrodominance. Otherwise, they're taking that Force of Vigor. What all have they exiled? All right, so my first, they don't have, yes, all right, so if Dauthi Voidwalker is not tapped, they can cast Force of Negation. All right, what to do here? 3, 6, 9, 12. That's a 4-turn clock. If I shock in Watery Grave, hoping to hit Necrodominance, that's a 3-turn clock. But it does open up Land Overlord, which actually doesn't do anything because of Dauthi Voidwalker. Huh. Suspending Voidwalker does, or just suspending Overlord does nothing. I'm gonna leave it a 4-turn clock. The reason this does nothing is because I'm not gonna get any creatures from my graveyard. Whereas actually, I think if I slam this next turn, then the clock favors me, even though they have removal spells in their deck. All right, now because they tapped this, they can't cast that Force of Negation, so... Yeah, okay. And now I just have to dodge Necrodominance for a turn. Even then, they're at 10. All right, they're gaining 2 life. Sending... I wish I could cycle something right now. Sending Dauthi Voidwalker to the Shadow Realm. I actually don't know how Shadow works. I think... All right, so it's not like Fear or Intimidate. Artifact creatures, it still can't block it. I guess I can... Let's see, what are they exiled? It doesn't matter. I can bounce the Dauthi Voidwalker. That's pretty good. Yeah, I can bounce Dothy. And then I can play Overlord, maybe pick up a green card. That's pretty good. Oh no, I used black. Darn it. Oh, I've got this problem with that card. I used the wrong mode. Well, I meant to bounce Dothy Voidwalker, so I probably lost the game now. We're dead here. All right. They can just Soul Spike me at any time. Didn't actually matter because they had Soul Spikes. All right, what to do? Culling Ritual? I don't think so. Sky Turtle would be great. I'd get rid of one of these Force of Vigors. It was dead. Back on the play. Gonna take out a Sultai for a Troll for mana reasons. Sigh. This hand is so close but so far. I'm gonna mulligan. Alright, what does this hand do? This hand turn 2 Deceits with Force of Negation back up. Keep, put back basic island. It's either lose Force Subtlety or lose Deceit, I think. Actually, they'll probably take Shardless Agent. I think we're fine here. I'm not forcing a Thoughtseize. They take the Deceit as we expected. Oh, what? My computer lagged and I... Gosh darn it, my computer lagged and I clicked on a land I didn't even intend to click on. That is frustrating. Oh, well, at least I got a black land and a blue one. Alright, of all the lands I could have gotten, that one's not the worst. But, oh my gosh, that was frustrating. Look at that. Never punished. It would be nice to have another creature in the graveyard. Let's get black-green. That actually turns off our blue spells. I guess we'll get Breeding Pool. Both of our huge evoke creatures do have a blue-blue mode. I guess I just take the land. So our opponent likely has Force of Despair. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. Or I could get really greedy and try to... Ugh, this... I have to take the land there. I could get really greedy and try to trigger this from my graveyard, but unfortunately I'm not going to do that. And now I can fire off either Subtlety if I need to, or Force of Negation, and then follow up with Disciple into Shardless Agent. The Shardless Agent's the key part of that. Let's just go for that play that I outlined. If they have another Thoughtseize, then that's 3 in their top 9. No other Thoughtseize. They might have Force of Despair, and that's okay. I have an Overlord ticking down. Alright, gotta go for this. Well, I don't got to, but I'm going to. I think it's the best thing I can do. They're probably going to Surveil here. If they're surveilling to try to hit a creature, maybe that means no Force of Despair. Because if you have Force of Despair, I think you wait on the Surveil. Nice, we get an Overlord trigger too. That's pretty good. I'm going to take Formidable Speaker. I think that's reasonable. We dodge Force of Despair. That's huge. They've got one turn to Necrodominance us here. They did top last turn. No, it's just Graveyard Trespasser. That's not good enough. I don't think. Goodbye, troll. How much do I lose? Just one. I think I send with everybody here, especially if I draw. That's not bad. So first we attack. This is 16 if they want to block Shardless. Oh, that's a Sky Turtle. Boom. I'm holding control. No. Ugh. All right, so what I meant to do there, all right, you see I accidentally clicked off my attack stop there. What I meant to do was just hold priority and bounce this with Sky Turtle and win the game. Instead, we're giving the opponent another turn. But let's see, what do I have in my graveyard? There's a Force of Negation and a Force of Vigor, so we're very safe. Because Sky Turtle turns my whole graveyard into my hand. Oh well. Alright, opponent goes to 1. They can attack, trigger this, and go to 2. Something I'm actually worried about is they attack for 4 plus another 2. They go up to 3. I take 6, go to 6. They could have Soul Spike. I go to 2. I'm just going to bounce this. I don't want to risk them having something. Discard a card, that's fine. I'm going to discard my green card. I'll just subtlety this if they play it again. I don't see how they get out of this. They have Necrodominance. They could have a Soul Spike here to go up to 5 life. Yeah, that's what they do. Okay. They still need 2 more Soul Spikes in their top 4 cards. Okay, do they have it? They need 6 black cards, 2 of which are Soul Spike. They don't have it. All right, well, we survive a misplay there. My computer also tried to kill me there. Man, everything was against us that game, and we still got it. Let's go. See you in round number 3. Round number 3. Let's see how this hand looks. I'm not good at eyeballing hands with this deck yet, so I don't really have a true 2-drop. I've got Turtle, but that's not really what you want to do. But overall, this hand's pretty good. I will keep. Can even just Surveil on turn 2. I think I'm going to start with the Grove. Disciple Fraley's is like the ideal pitch off Formidable Speaker. Opponent starts with Bloodstain so it could be Storm, it could be some sort of aggro red deck. I'm not totally sure what that means yet. I think I'll get blue-black here, Surveil Land. Second Formidable Speaker. I think I have enough to do that I don't need that Deceit. I can make my graveyard threatening. Although Deceit is the best card in the deck, I believe. If you're playing this deck, it's because of Deceit. Opponent surveils to the top. Think Formidable Speaker, pitching Disciple Fraley's, getting Shardless Agent's pretty good play here. Little late for that Overlord. Oops, need to make green. Boom, bam. This is also our fourth land. Worth considering. It might just be worth pitching another Formidable. But if my first Charlotte's Agent gets wrecked somehow, I'll have another one. Gonna pitch Disciple. Disciple's just really good to have in the graveyard. Don't really need more lands to play this game. Opponent's on straight black-red. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe I could have gotten an Endurance there. No, I need the Sharpest Agent. Gotta threaten the opponent. Orc's Bowmaster is not the strongest card against a 2/4. They could yeet this army token at me, then Fatal Push it. I don't think that's what you want to do. Street Wraith, a little bit good against me. 2 Street Wraiths. Okay. And I'm going to gain a lot of life. Burning Inquiry. My hand's really good, so I'm not going to let that happen. If your hand sucks, though, sometimes Burning Inquiry is great for you. Can't do anything about that one. Just hope I keep one of these 3 drops. My hand didn't change. But my graveyard got way better. Okay. And now maybe they'll let me sacrifice my Formidable Speaker to save 4 damage. This would have been a better play from our opponent if they already had Blood Moon in play. This deck does play Blood Moon. They can Fatal Push here. I don't know if that's what they want to do. Thoughtseize would be annoying. But not the worst. It's just Detective's Phoenix. Does that kill me? I don't think it does. A little surprised they bestowed that. Might have been a better threat after living in it. Nah, they're going to lose their permanent count. And they had to get rid of a Street Wraith to do that. By permanent, I mean mana value. Magic is so complicated now. Alright, Breeding Pool, not the best, but it is what it is. I mean, what am I complaining about? My hand is great. Probably going to easily win this game. Cast Living End. Target them. How do I want to do this? I want, I don't think it matters. I don't care. Alright, the game's over. So this deck plays Blood Moon. Kind of want Dismember. I don't think I want Shriek Maw. Harvester, I think, is okay. It responds to bestowing. What do I want to take out? I don't know how good Deceit is. I actually don't want Wistfulness as much. I think I want these 2, these 3. Is there anything else I want? Ashiok's not the greatest, especially on the draw. I think Culling Ritual might actually be better than Ashiok. But I don't think you want to do too much here. Like, I just really need to keep a Blood Moon out of play. I think Kavero can come out. I think one Formidable can come out. Wistfulness. Actually, I want 2 Wistfulness out, and I'll leave a Formidable Speaker in. If I have a Formidable Speaker, I have a Wistfulness if I want it. I guess that's okay. I'm not totally sure what to do here. I know Force of Vigor looks a little odd, but like I said, they have Blood Moon, and a lot of these black-red decks, their hate is permanent based. It's going to be like Vexing Bauble and stuff, although Vexing Bauble terrible against, or Force of Vigor terrible against Vexing Bauble. Anyway, I'll keep this hand because I can Surveil twice. And I've got interaction at least. I can postpone the game for a while. I can bounce that with turtle. Not the worst. Unless they inquiry me. I think I have to force an inquiry. Oh. There's another force, and I can fire off these forces aggressively. Endurance is, in general, pretty good here, but I just need a cascade spell. Moon Shadow. I think... Let's see. So next turn, if I draw a 2-drop, I'm kind of priced in still to using Colossal Sky Turtle. I don't know how much better Subtlety is getting. So I'm going to try to buy myself some time. I don't love doing this. Hopefully the opponent loads up on this Mako here. They did not fetch a swamp because they had Faithless Looting. Do I just want to fire off this other force? Yeah, I don't know what my next opportunity is going to be. What do they do with that Moon Shadow? They bottom Moon Shadow. I should have looked at that before. I don't know. I guess I think when you're up against these aggressive red discard decks, you just have to use your resources while you have them. You can't just stockpile. It's cards in hand. Look at that. All right, what land do I want? They could untap Blood Moon. That was the risk of getting the Underground Mortuary. Well, I played it from hand, actually. That wasn't a risk at all. I think I want my green mana and my blue mana the most. So what I'm going to do here... Shoot, that was a mistake. I should have used Polluted Delta. Oh well. Didn't think that one through all the way. But I want to get my blue mana here because I have way more ways to get a forest out of my deck under a Blood Moon. Like that Generous Ent, which I think is not what I'm going to take. I mean, I'm like, if they have Blood Moon next turn, I kind of can't play the game. If they don't have Blood Moon next turn, this Endurance is great. I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going to get Generous Ent. Another Mako. Mako from Waco. Burning Inquiry. Well, all that thought doesn't really matter anymore. Alright, I kept my Generous Ent. That's what I cared about. And yeah, I don't have the ability to Endurance, or I mean, well, actually, I don't know. Let's just see what I draw. I can bounce one of these with Deceit, or with Sky. I have 2 bounce spells here, actually. This is kind of nice. Alright, well, if you insist. What do I want to do here? I think I want to leave up Island, so I'm going to fetch with Generous Ent and get Basic Forest. Did I mill Basic Forest? No, I did not. Boom. All right, feeling pretty good here. Now, I think we can beat pretty much anything but Thoughtseize. Or Burning Inquiry, I guess. Look at these lands, you guys. Don't you want to eat a pizza with like a whole frickin' shallot and some dead fish and like whatever that red thing is? Or don't you want to eat the pizza with broccoli, jalapeno, and the jalapenos are not sliced or anything or pickled? They're just whole peppers that are like still like a lot of cellulose. Yeah. All right. Boy, am I glad I cut a Spider-Man for a Sky Turtle. Just turtles, just better than spiders. IMO. TBH. Take hopefully just 7. Opponent can still bolt me out of the game. And I'm also giving them Mako Street Wraith. And I'm only getting Generous Sense, Sky Turtle, Troll, Endurance. That's not that good. A 1-mana Cycler would be pretty good here. Although the Ent trigger negates 1 attack from Street Wraith. Alright, not terrible. Not a terrible follow-up. Do they get like a blue mana for Consign to Memory? They most likely just Surveil. Raucous Theater. Got a theater kit over here. Alright, nothing off the theater. Blackleaved Cliffs is like, after all the years I played in your deck, you're gonna call me nothing. Yeah, that's what you are to me right now. And I'm not gonna target anything with that subtlety, even though I could put this on top if I wanted to. I've got a follow-up creature next turn, even if I swing out. So I think put maximum number of creatures in play is the move. Opponent can turn their Street Wraith sideways to deal 3 damage. So we're dead to double Lightning Bolt. Only a Moon Shadow. I can bounce that. No, I can't. All right. Now I can bounce it. All right, so what happens here? Let me just do some math. I might turn this recording off. And I'm actually going to use the blue mode this time. You guys see my computer trying to do me dirty? Bounce a random creature. They're all 1/1s. Attack with all. Eat food. F6. Troll has Super Menace, so I think once they realize that, they'll scoop. Although I did goof this game up. I should have bounced Moonshadow, obviously, because they could still like bolt my subtlety, untap, attack, and bolt me, and somehow also grow a creature by power. Yeah, all right. And, well, that was kind of a goofball game, but on to round number 4. Let's see. This hand can Overlord on turn 2. It's got Force. That's pretty good. I will keep. It can't, if I play Basic Island, I can't Deceit on turn 2, but I think it's worth it to save the life. Oh no, it's Eldrazi. Well, we had a good run. What did they exile? Dustarino. Um, all right, so this card exiles all graveyards, which I didn't know the first time I saw it, but I just kind of played into it anyway, and it worked out somehow. Eldrazi Temple All's Dust. So it looks like they picked up probably like a medium-sized card, like a Thought Not Seer or something. I think I will get Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, sounds good. Between these two, I guess Ent is better to pick up. Do I even want to pick it up? Hmm. Yeah, I think a card in hand is better than the graveyard. Graveyard's not always a safe place anyway. They could have Kozilek's Command. Okay, they got Urza's Mine. We are 2/3 of the way to Tron. That wasn't a good draw. Let's play this Wistfulness for cards. Also out of blue cards. Well, this hand just kind of stinks. I'm going to discard Basic Swamp. At least I picked up a blue card there. Alright, well, we are going nowhere. If the opponent has Tron or even just Eldrazi lands, this kind of stinks. Opponent K commands for 0. Alright, they're just drawing a card. They can't be land screwed. They declined 2 lands unless they only had 1 land. I don't know. Would you keep 1 Tron land plus Devourer? That seems a little bad. Use the Ent there. Opponent has to discard. They discard. What is that? Emrakul the Promised End. Alright. I think I'm just going to play the Forest. They're nowhere near Emrakul, so I don't see a reason to do anything else here. Devourer of Destiny makes sense. Let's just counter the Trinisphere, although I'm not even really close to this card mattering. Can almost just pay for it. Alright, buddy, you asked for it. Too bad they don't have any artifacts or enchantments. If I knew I had this Wistfulness, I could have just let Trinisphere resolve. Deck's not being our friend this game. They have Dismember. Okay. Could have just kept up Subtlety, but I don't think they're going to cast anything too threatening here. Trinisphere, I can just pay for it now if I draw Living End. Although I got to get this Endurance down first. Like I was saying. Alright, well now I botched that a little bit, but I'll have enough lands next turn. I should have cycled the troll first. But now I have 7 lands anyway, so I can just do it all. Hopefully we can one-shot them. One, two, three. Actually, shoot, I should have upkeep this endurance in case they can actually. 1, 2 plus 7, 8, 9, 10. They can't quite Emrakul yet, but that was a blunder. I should have cast the endurance in their upkeep. I kind of want that deceit that's on top, actually. So I'm not going to cycle anything away yet. But if they make a bunch of spawns here, then I probably will Shardless Agent. Okay, blue card would be really good off the top. Ah, we have a blue card, so never mind. I think we're actually coming back in this game. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I said it. Swamp Cycle. Don't have any swamps. It's okay. All right, my computer is sabotaging me. I don't know if I've actually gone to the next phase yet. All right, I haven't. Geez, all right, I don't know what's going on. Computer's so slow right now. Hopefully we don't mill all of our living ends. 1, 2, there's 1 left in the deck. I'm gonna take this Wistfulness because it's a green card. Or do I actually just need maximum stuff here? Yeah, I've got blue card, I've got Shardless Sage, and I've got Sultai. I'm actually just not going to pick anything up. I think I need maximum pressure in play in case they somehow get an Ugin down. Okay. They could have All is Dust. That's something else to think about. But they have a lot of mana, so Shardless Agent is doing double duty here, getting rid of the mana as well. Now, important to note, drawing a bunch of cards here with Disciple Freely is not as cool as it seems because they have this Trinisphere in play. But I'm going to do it anyway. Alright, so now I'm really set up for the next couple turns. Even if they somehow stabilize, maybe I could still win. I'm really concerned about Ugin, obviously. I have a lot of repressed bad memories from that card. Alright, there's Tron. They have 9 mana. But thanks to their own Trinisphere, they can't cast cheap colorless spells even after an Ugin. Also, I realized earlier I was talking like I could use Subtlety into this Trinisphere. Obviously I can't. I just temporarily forgot that. KTGC. That can't really... They can cast 1 spell here. They can go get Ensnaring Bridge and hope I don't have... Yeah, that's what they do. Hope I don't have a bounce spell, but I have 2 bounce spells. Make sure to use the blue mode on Deceit. And make sure to bounce Ensnaring Bridge. All right, we did it. That was way harder than I had any business being. What do we want? Shriekmaw kills Thought Not Seer and it kills the 6/6. Not going to bring in Inevitable Betrayal yet. Let's see, against them, Kavero could be Emrakul the Promised End, but then it'd only be a 4/4 flying trample, so that's actually not very good at all. I'm going to take Kavero out. They have Emrakul the Promised End in their deck, but I still don't think I need all these endurances. Yeah, let's go out down one troll on the play, or on the draw. That's a turn 2 Overlord into a turn 3 Cascade with a Subtlety backup. I will keep. Assuming I get a third land somehow. Not a lot of interaction. They left Ulamog the Infinite Gyro here. Oh, no, that's Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. But still. Kind of can't believe that's still in their deck. Maybe if I go to a game 3, I'll just bring in Inevitable Betrayal. Or they could be mega gotcha-ing me. Okay, if they tap out, maybe I could Wistfulness the Mind Stone. I've also been thinking about Fulminator Mage for this matchup. Let's see, I want blue-black. Could also get green-black, but I would like blue. Good bin. Land would be swell. There we go. Probably should have played Twilight Mire there, but I don't like activating that ability any more than I have to. It's kind of annoying. Force Overlord of the Bailmer kind of freezes my computer. I will take Wistfulness. Or is it Sky Turtle? I don't think it's nothing. Subtlety actually does the least damage. And I already have a Wistfulness, so I'm going to take Subtlety. That's a little bit aggressive because they could have, I don't know, 2 annoying permanents by next turn that I need to clean up, and I only have 1 Wistfulness in hand. However, what they doing over there? Looks like they are Kozilek's commanding. Maybe for that reason I should have picked up Wistfulness. It was kind of wishful thinking. Wistfulness goes hand in hand with wishful thinking. Yep. Hey, they can't even get all my creatures. Nice. Still even a generous in the graveyard. I would like a Deceit. I think that would be my best draw. Chalice of the Void. Come at me, bro. This deck cares very little about these hate pieces. Trinisphere is a little more obnoxious. I think I gotta take out the Trinisphere first. Or I could just bank on going up to 6 mana. What do I actually want more to kill? Trinisphere is actually doing more damage to my game plan. I'm done. Thank you. Let's get Trinisphere. They're also playing Swamp from Mordor. I also famously, well, notably, don't have Subtlety up next turn. Hard cast. Hopefully this is just a game where the opponent mulliganed really low. Well, they didn't mulligan low, but they have a bunch of hate and not a lot to do with it. Disruptor Flute, let's see what they name. This will be telling about what they think's in our deck. Oh, they just named Wistfulness. That kind of makes sense. Good thing I didn't pick up. See, like I was saying earlier, don't pick up more than one Wistfulness. Deceit is a good draw. And I can't make 2 blue, so let's Deceit. I stacked these triggers wrong, whatever. Now they can maybe Kozilek's command the Deceit. Yeah, so you want to stack these triggers the other way. Oh no, did I do it? Oh my god, I actually did it. My momentary lapse in focus. Jeez Louise. Oh well, at least I'm nowhere near living in. And I get whatever card they draw here, but they can just put a land on top, so. That was a blunder by me, but this game's not looking like it matters. If any of these top 4 cards are good. They also just have Ulamog. Oh, they didn't exile anything. Dirt. Yep, alright. As we expected. Probably going to lose the game next turn. Blunder by me, didn't really matter. It's one of those things in paper you just say, but in Magic Online you got to make sure you click on the right thing. Well, we can delay by a turn. Kind of surprised they're playing Ugin Eye of the Storms and the 7-mana sweeper in the same deck, because Ugin pretty much just is a 7-mana sweeper. Land would be not the best. Okay, now we might be able to win if they replay that Ugin by Subtlety, and then we draw another land. No, I need to kill Chalice of the Void. Well, this is hopeless. I'm just playing it out. Okay, that's something. It's no longer hopeless. Okay. Opponent has no cards in hand. So they only get 2-3 shots at a card. And I need to draw a land right now. They didn't play anything. So they drew like a Kozilek's command, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I actually want to take out the mana. Yeah, let's take out the mana. That might be aggressive. But in a perfect world, I draw a land, and then I clean up these Scion tokens next turn. Hopefully not Wistfulness off the top. Nice. Wow. Tell me I have a fetchable left. I'll just get Breeding Pool to make sure I don't accidentally land heck myself. Wait, I didn't even need that land. What am I talking about? I was still thinking like there was a, whatever that card's called, Ensnaring Mana, Flute Bridge, Trinisphere? Yeah, there it is. They get 2 creatures out of my graveyard if they have Kozilek's command, which they might because they scryed 4. Cast the Living End. Haven't even looked at my graveyard for a while. What all is in there? No, they have Kozilek's Command. Oh, never mind. Done. Alright, they need to rip quite a few colorless cards in a row here. They have Flute for one thing. That's annoying. This minus is at 11, so we're safe for a turn. Another Kozilek's Command would probably do it for my opponent. Can they cast that? Tower, Power Plant, they don't have mine. Oh, but they have Ugin, darn it. Well, I can Living End again. What do they want? Okay. Very fair. Fair and balanced. And it exiles. Ooh, that was that was such a good draw. All right. I must have renewed my Moto Premium subscription. Plus Ugin. By plus Ugin, I mean attack it. All right, so Force of Negation is the card they named. They didn't even consider a world where I rebuild. Hopefully I don't hit all my Living Ends. Just leave those there, that's fine. What's in their graveyard? Yeah, I'm not picking up anything. I don't know, maybe I could have tried to let them attack and then I can attack Ugin back. That's kind of risky though. I need all these creatures in play. I think they're out of stuff they scryed. I even forgot Ugin had the mana ability. Okay, but can they cast it? Come on. All right, well, we lose. All right, I'm taking out all of the endurances, I think. Let's try Inevitable Betrayal. I mean, I don't know. Like, what more can I do? Let's bring the land back in, take the Living End out. Now they're incentivized with Disruptor Flute to name Living End. And then what do I want in? They didn't show me any Thought Knots yet, so I don't think they're playing it. I think with this mana base we get Watery Grave, Chalice of the Void, whatever. Force Cycle for a Breeding Pool. I don't need to blow this up on turn 2 necessarily. And there's a better target anyway. Let's Swamp Cycle for a green swamp. Don't need Endurance. Although Endurance actually might have been good. Put it in play, just attack the opponent. They have 2 Tron lands already. What are we really going to do? We're going to draw a Deceit. That's pretty much our best shot right now. Force of Vigor wouldn't have even been that good. Although it would be a good draw. Which of these do I care more about hitting? I guess a Vexing Bauble. Could also just draw cards and try to fair the opponent out, but I can actually do another Wistful next turn because of Cavero. Could just Wistfulness for everything next turn. And I'm going to take out the Vexing Bauble first. It's the better card. Okay. So with this Troll of Khazad-dûm, I have to get... That's fine. That's actually not a problem at all. They have Tron. Opponent has Tron. How boring. Look at me, I went 1, 2, 3 and have 7 mana. No follow-up from the opponent. Do I want to hold up Subtlety? No, I think I want to get this 4-mana double-kicked Wistfulness into play. And I'm not actually sure that Trinisphere isn't hurting them right now. But I have to take out Trinisphere. I have to give myself the chance to Subtlety to stop Ugin for a turn and then draw Force of Negation. Blue, green, blue, green. Oh, I have to pay black for that. All right. Well, shoot. Now I think the answer is just Subtlety. Maybe Sky Turtle. Opponent has nothing. I have to put pressure in play. I can't play Drago. Opponent probably holding up Kozilek's command. Maybe that Endurance would have been really good. So Generous Ant opens me up to land number 6, which beats Trinisphere, but it does not beat... I'm going to top that. And I'm going to take out Trinisphere. No, I'm going to take out Chalice of the Void. Green, green, blue, black. Combat first. Okay. Green, green, black, blue. Wistfulness. Take out Chalice of the Void. Opponent didn't do anything with all that mana last turn. They have all the mana this turn. They take out our flyer. Makes sense. Wait. Oh, no. I'm so foolish. I forgot. I just have lands in hand. I get befuddled playing against this deck. That was stupid of me. And I can't even do anything to get that Generous Ant off the top of my deck. I could cast it. The other option I had was to copy the Troll of Khazad-dûm to have like a friggin' uncastable creature. Or I mean unblockable, but no, that wouldn't have mattered. Well, here's something I can do. Plan B. Draw 4, gain 4. Looky there. Drew the IB right on time. Somehow, no Cascade spell, having seen 21 cards. One of those was my fault. Block. That block might make the opponent think I don't have Inevitable Betrayal in my deck. Alright, they have the Graveyard Hate spell. Alright, we'll take that. Actually gonna discard Misty Rainforest. Get Charlotte's Agent. I don't want them to know about IB. And I can cast Force of Negation. Ooh, they have nothing. It appears. End turn. Get rid of Generous Ent. This ain't good. Opponent casts Mega Kozilek's command. But if I'm going to win with Ulamog or Emrakul, these blockers don't matter. And they gotta cast this now before Trinisphere is destroyed. Okie dokie. Okay, any draw here besides Inevitable Betrayal is required. The opponent left up 2 mana. Don't know why. Well, actually, no, they left up 4 mana. Good, good enough. And now what they do is they're probably going to cash, like, that Disruptor Flute, never mind. Ooh, there's Emrakul to Promised End. So what actually kills faster? I think it's Emrakul. Now they could still have Ulamog, and I didn't actually look at what was in their deck because I didn't want to spend any more time. Ulamog could exile my Emrakul and the other Inevitable Betrayals in my hand, so then we'd be done. Probably. Need a Tashana's Tiebinder for moments like this. Or Consign to Memory. Friggin' Consign to Memory. Yes, it's just Ugin. And I can get that back with Sky Turtle next turn. They could go for a Karn and Snaring Bridge. That would, from their perspective, be a good play. I don't know why they didn't save up and do this next turn. Unless they're just going to draw another one. Yeah, that actually makes sense. They're trying to draw another one, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. If I were them, I'd be tempted to exile. Emrakul doesn't care about these spawns at all. What are they doing? Trinisphere? Okay. If Trinisphere was the best thing they had, they could have left an expensive card second. Forest, fine. And I can hear two of you still watching yelling at the screen, use Turtle now for Force of Negation. I'll do that. The reason to do it now is so they can't have another K command. What is bro do? No! Why? Not fair. Oh well, good games. We tried. That's a pretty good hand, and it has a living end in it. I guess I'll keep, though. I've got Wistfulness. Although I don't have 2 blue. What I'd like to do is, like, surveil a land cycler to the graveyard. I also wish I had a blue-green surveil land, but it's the worst surveil land for this deck. Opponent has Thought Seized. At least Endurance is okay in these matchups. Get the sewers here because I want to surveil. They took Endurance, huh? Yeah, I'll put that on top. That's fine. Actually, I could have graveyarded that. Oh well. All right, I'm still a little bit upset about that last round. I hate playing against Tron. If I don't play this deck at Baltimore, it's going to be because there's just too much Eldrazi and Tron. I really don't think we even have really agency in the matchup. It's just if their deck tips over the right way, we can't win. That's how I feel about it. All right, Deceit is a consolation prize for not having third land. Kind of like that. I like how I have Deceit and Shardless Agent now because I kept that on top. Plains, they're playing Esper. What is bro doing? Oh no, Bones. All right, now I just really want. They're going to get that Deceit. Darn it. Emperor of Bones is a card I've heard that they're moving away from in these decks. I think this is Blink. I don't think this is Goryo's, but I'm not sure yet. Goryo's doesn't usually play basic planes, do they? There's the land. I think we need to go for this. It's unfortunately not getting any better for me. Anything I put in my graveyard is going to eat crow. Oh, they got endurance anyway. All right. From their perspective, that was insanely lucky. We drew land and Cascade Spell after they thought seized us. But they are a solid 2 deck in all likelihood, so this isn't likely to be game over yet. I also just like shoving that living in there because their blue mana is tapped out. They can't have Consign to Memory. This could be a deck that's playing like Quantum Reveler, and then they're going to consign their trigger. Also, fun fact, if they take all the big stuff out of their deck and we switch into Inevitable Betrayal, we can still get Emperor of Bones and activate it to make a big haste animation turn. All right, what did they pick up? My computer had a potato moment there. Flicker Wisp. Okay, this is just annoying. Annoying blink. And I cannot... Let's see. I think I have to deceive the opponent. Let's start by attacking. Do these in the right order. Actually, it does. Because... What does Flicker Wisp do? I get my attack in. I'm gonna take... to... whatever they do, I can... Subtlety? Huh. I'm gonna take Teferi. They don't have white mana for Flicker Wisp anyway. Do they? Never mind, they do. It's hard to keep a lot of stuff straight and still talk about the game. I envy people who can talk as quickly as their brain can do things. Well, actually, maybe I can. Maybe I'm just that slow. But, I don't know. What do you guys think was the right play there? I mean, all their cards are good. They're all potentially problems. They could draw a Ephemerate. I can't do anything about it at the moment. They drew Thoughtseize, and they played their Hallowed Fountain. Probably taking Subtlety here. Yeah. Wistfulness is a risk if I draw a green land. They get a trigger here. And by the way, Overlord of the Bailmart can return to Fairy. Okay, they got Teferi or Emperor. Opponent missed out on Solitudes, which is nice. They're also at 4. What did they return? Also, getting back subtlety is nice. They got Witch Enchanter? No, Teferi. Okay. I actually feel better about this now. I think I want Generous Ent. Or, nah, I just want Subtlety. Alright. Opponent's very close to dead. I think I attack with both to attempt to bait them into blocking Overlord on Shardless, Flicker Wisp on Deceit. And then their plan is going to be to bounce Deceit with Teferi, and then I'll Subtlety. But they know about Subtlety. I kind of need a Shardless in my graveyard anyway. Yep, they block how I thought they might. They don't have Solitude, that's why I attacked like that. I can pitch to keep Teferi off play, and then I can bounce Overlord of the Baelmerk with Sky Turtle. They drew Meticulous Archive, so their hand is still Teferi, Quantum Riddler, Quantum Riddler. So our line to kill them, I think, is still good. I don't think anything changed and we win here. Could change if they manage to stick. Oh, they already played a land. Shoot, I shouldn't. They already played a land, so I shouldn't have respected Teferi anymore once they did that. Now they need Consign to Memory. Shoot. Oh well, maybe they'll attack here. Alright, they can't play any more lands. They have to draw. I can let that resolve. They're trying to draw Solitude, and I already have the answer to Solitude. Alright, we're good here. They're going to attack because they have to draw Solitude. No, they didn't, so they must have drawn it. Alright, go ahead and bounce with Sky Turtle. Alright, they didn't draw Solitude. Nice. I may have to turn off the computer because this is going so slow. Not the computer, I mean the Magic Online, or the OBS. There we go, I figured out which program I want to close. / piece of physical hardware.
Oh, so you weren't before. You hadn't delved into Bitcoin before that with all your financial experience?
I'd had some. No, I thought it was a scam. I thought it was too smart for it because this hedge fund background.
Yeah.
And I had a friend in 2011 who told me about it, and I remember saying to him, I could probably put $10,000 towards it, but it wouldn't change my life that much. That's when Bitcoin was $1 a coin.
Oh man.
So it would have been whatever that is today, 10,000 Bitcoin. But I probably would have sold it when it went up, 100% or 200%. And so I began to, the content, I began to sort of change audiences. I became very obsessed with Bitcoin. And I had a lot of people telling me, like, you're talking too much about Bitcoin, I'm leaving. But then I had newcomers who were very interested in Bitcoin. And so it's just one of those twists and turns in life I never could have foreseen that I would become.
All right, so games 2 and 3 of this league, my computer was lagging so bad, and this matchup tends to be kind of drawn out. I couldn't risk just timing out and blowing the league, so I'm going to watch them in replay. This game, I think I make kind of a key strategic blunder early, so we mulligan that hand. I'm actually just going to go through one at a time. I think I made the wrong choice with deceit early in this game. Watching it unfold here. Wait, so what did the opponent pick up there? I don't know what they picked up. I think they picked up either Solitude or Teferi. We'll deceit them here in a moment. Oh, okay, so for whatever reason, not for whatever reason. All right, so to play around a turn 3 slam Teferi, I went ahead and just passed the turn here with my blue mana open. I think that was a strategic blunder because I could have just taken whatever they have next turn with Deceit. I could Overlord of the Baelmerk, potentially get the Deceit back. Basically, the strategic blunder I think I made this game is I played it more like Teamer or Bant would play, where you have to be very reactive. But one of the good things about Sultai is it is very unbothered by hate. So it probably would have been better just to develop my game plan, let the opponent play their hate out, and then figure out what to do from there. But anyway, so I did, I think, with this turn, effectively convince the opponent that I'm going to hold open reactive spells. So I do counter the Teferi there, but the problem is, like, if we just look at the game, the opponent has things like Flicker Wisp and Thalia, and they've got Overlord of the Baelmerk, so the odds that they're going to put Teferi in their hand again are pretty high. It honestly might be better just to let them get the Teferi down, let them commit time and resources to that. All right, so what do we take? I think we took the consigned to memory there, if I'll pop it out. Yeah. So the opponent just had a handful of blink stuff. Unfortunately, we took consigned to memory, and I think this game is just going to be me getting pummeled here by the opponent. They have that Overlord in play. Probably the best thing I could have done would have been taking this Overlord somehow, but they were on the play, so I didn't have a chance. We don't have any plays besides besides 2 mana Wistfulness that deal with Overlord. And now the opponent's just so far ahead. I probably should have developed my game plan here much earlier than I did. The opponent can they've already picked up their Teferi again. So. Yeah, we make them discard the Teferi, but big deal. They're going to get it back with Emperor of Bones. Or not Emperor, Overlord. I have a Force of Negation, but it also cost me my Cascade spell. So I just kind of fell behind early this game, and I could never catch up. But next game, we'll see. I think I play it much better. There's Emperor of Bones to rub salt in the wound. That card kills us very quickly. They might just have lethal here, but I scooped like 5 plus 11, 12, 13, 14. So the opponent had 14 damage here. Anyway, let's go to game 3. All right, this game is, I think, the best game I've ever played with Sultai. Opening hand here, a lot of hand disruption, not a whole lot else to do. A little bit of proactivity if we get our third land. Well, we've got our third land. Opponent thought seizes us. I think I go ahead and get rid of the troll here just so they can't take me off of 3 lands, even though I don't think there's any world where they take Troll. We deceive the opponent, and what do we see? Hang on. All right, so we defeated the opponent, and we saw Overlord, Thalia, Land, Teferi, Mystical Dispute. And I think I decided at this point that even though they have, so I took the Overlord here so they can't get it into play and start just negating any work that I've done. So I think what I decided at this point in the game is the opponent's probably going to try to leverage this Mystical Dispute, and they're behind on lands. So the advantage I actually have here is if I can run the game out longer, that will favor me. And we've already established last game that I will hold up Mystical if I have it. So I think the opponent, at this point, what I was anticipating is the opponent's going to be like very respectful of what could be in my hand. And because I'm playing with their hand face up and they're not, that benefits me. So like if I can make this game go a couple turns longer than it would normally be inclined to go if we just started chucking our cards at each other, I think that will favor me because I'll make better decisions just on average. But anyway. Yeah, that's kind of the key distinction between Sultai and Teamer or Bant is that we play with our opponent's hand known to us a lot of the time, and it really makes those 50-50 calls way easier to make. Like, do I force this or do I save force? Do I subtlety now? Do I wait? All right, so the opponent, they get their Thalia into play. So now they're at a point in time where, let's see, what do I do here? All right, so I choose to cast Endurance to try to block this. Let's see, what are they going to do? I don't know. But what I'm actually doing is letting them cast Teferi because my plan is just to go up to 5 mana Wistfulness or 4 mana Subtlety now. If they played Teferi, they would have to -1 it, bounce the Endurance. I would replay the Endurance, and then we'd basically be in the same position except their Teferi would be on 1. But they drew something here. They go hard cast Mystical Dispute, which I think was actually like the best thing that could have happened for us. And this is what I mean. I'm playing with their hand known to me, but they don't know what's in my hand. So I'm just at a huge advantage. For all they know, that Mystical was a really good play. But based on what's in my hand, it really wasn't that good. So I'm going to take 2 here from Thalia. We're getting a little bit beat up. And they're respecting Subtlety, they're respecting Mystical Dispute. From their perspective, this looks pretty good. They're hitting us for 2 every turn, but they're not hitting their land drops. We are. I think I have 5 mana Wistfulness here. Yep, that's exactly what I do. And draw Dismember, that's pretty good. That's a 1 mana play that takes some pressure off. Although it does hurt quite a bit if I play it for 1 mana. All right, so the opponent finally plays Teferi, and they have to minus it. So it's not a threat to minus any of our creatures again for a while. So even though we're Living End deck, they have Teferi in play, like I'm so far ahead on mana and we're even in cards, like this isn't the end of the world. And all these cards are reasonable to play on my turn too. All right, well, they do bounce the Teferi, and so, yeah, I did forget to mention that. They are going to get a counter here. They're going to get their Teferi back up to 4. I think what I do is I get a land here. We Superior Spider-Man targeting Deceit, right? Yeah, all right. So this is the power of Superior Spider-Man. It's a 4 mana double-kicked Deceit. I think what I do is I bounce the Teferi, and we'll see what they discard. All right, so let's get rid of all the known cards. All right, so now their hand at this point is Consign, Quantum Riddler, Consign, Overlord. They're really strapped on blue and black mana. So we can leverage that probably into a win here. It's 4 cards versus 4 cards. I think my cards are a little better than their cards. And I do go down to 2 life to get rid of that failure. Opponent casts Overlord, getting back. Let's see what they get back here. They picked up a Flicker Wisp, which is once again just rough on their mana. It costs all the mana they have to Flicker Wisp. We draw Deceit, which is great. I think I chose to just exile their Overlord here. I knew they had a Consign, but I still, this really encourages them to use Flicker Wisp, and I can subtlety that. And then I'm just way in the driver's seat. They do burn their final Consign, but I've got a bounce spell in hand. They have to block both my creatures somehow, and they just can't do it. We know they don't have any white cards in hand. All right, they did actually find Solitude, but they can't take it. And from here, we bounce a permanent and attack for lethal. All right, cool. So games 2 and 3 of this league, my computer was lagging so bad, and this matchup tends to be kind of drawn out. I couldn't risk just timing out and blowing the league, so I'm going to watch them in replay. This game, I think I make kind of a key strategic blunder early. So we mulligan that hand. I'm actually just going to go through one at a time. I think I made the wrong choice with Deceit early in this game. Watching it unfold here. Wait, so what did the opponent pick up there? I don't know what they picked up. I think they picked up either a Solitude or Teferi. We'll Deceit them here in a moment. Oh, okay, so for whatever reason, not for whatever reason. All right, so to play around a turn 3 Slam Teferi, I went ahead and just passed the turn here with my blue mana open. I think that was a strategic blunder because I could have just taken whatever they have next turn with Deceit. I could Overlord the Balemerc, potentially get the Deceit back. Basically, the strategic blunder I think I made this game is I played it more like Teamer or Bant would play, where you'd have to be very reactive. But one of the good things about Sultai is it is very unbothered by hate. So it probably would have been better just to develop my game plan, let the opponent play their hate out, and then figure out what to do from there. But anyway, so I did, I think, with this turn, effectively convince the opponent that I'm going to hold open reactive spells. So I do counter the Teferi there, but the problem is, like, if we just look at the game, the opponent has things like Flicker Wisp and Thalia, and they've got Overlord of the Balemerc, so the odds that they're going to put Teferi in their hand again are pretty high. It honestly might be better just to let them get the Teferi down, let them commit time and resources to that. All right, so what do we take? I think we took the consigned memory there, if I'll pop it out. Yeah. So the opponent just had a handful of blink stuff. Unfortunately, we took consigned memory, and I think this game is just going to be me getting pummeled here by the opponent. They have that Overlord in play. Probably the best thing I could have done would have been taking this Overlord somehow, but they were on the play, so I didn't have a chance. We don't have any plays besides besides 2 mana Wistfulness that deal with Overlord. And now the opponent's just so far ahead. I probably should have developed my game plan here much earlier than I did. The opponent can just, they've already picked up their Teferi again. So. Yeah, we make them discard the Teferi, but big deal. They're going to get it back with Emperor of Bones. Or not Emperor, Overlord. I have a Force of Negation, but it also cost me my Cascade spell. So I just kind of fell behind early this game, and I could never catch up. But next game, we'll see. I think I play it much better. There's Emperor of Bones to rub salt in the wound. That card kills us very quickly. They might just have lethal here, but I scooped like 5 plus 11, 12, 13, 14. So the opponent had 14 damage here. Anyway, let's go to game 3. All right, this game is, I think, the best game I've ever played with Sultai. Opening hand here, a lot of hand disruption, not a whole lot else to do. A little bit of proactivity if we get our third land. Well, we've got our third land. Opponent thought seizes us. I think I go ahead and get rid of the troll here just so they can't take me off of 3 lands. Even though I don't think there's any world where they take troll. We deceive the opponent, and what do we see? Hang on. All right, so we deceived the opponent, and we saw Overlord, Failure, Land, Teferi, Mystical Dispute. And I think I decided at this point that even though they have, so I took the Overlord here so they can't get it into play and start just negating any work that I've done. So I think what I decided at this point in the game is the opponent's probably going to try to leverage this Mystical Dispute, and they're behind on lands. So the advantage I actually have here is if I can run the game out longer, that will favor me. And we've already established last game that I will hold up Mystical if I have it. So I think the opponent, at this point, what I was anticipating is the opponent's going to be like very respectful of what could be in my hand. And because I'm playing with their hand face up and they're not, that benefits me. So like if I can make this game go a couple turns longer than it would normally be inclined to go if we just started chucking our cards at each other, I think that will favor me because I'll make better decisions just on average. But anyway. Yeah, that's kind of the key distinction between Sultai and Teamer or Bant is that we play with our opponent's hand known to us a lot of the time, and it really makes those 50-50 calls way easier to make. Like, do I force this or do I save force? Do I subtlety now? Do I wait? All right, so the opponent, they get their Failure into play. So now they're at a point in time where, let's see, what do I do here? All right, so I choose to cast Endurance to try to block this. Let's see, what are they going to do? I don't know. But what I'm actually doing is letting them cast Teferi, because my plan is just to go up to 5 mana Wistfulness or 4 mana Subtlety now. If they played Teferi, they would have to -1 it, bounce the Endurance. I would replay the Endurance, and then we'd basically be in the same position, except their Teferi would be on 1. But they drew something here. They go hard cast Mystical Dispute, which I think was actually like the best thing that could have happened for us. And this is what I mean. I'm playing with their hand known to me, but they don't know what's in my hand. So I'm just at a huge advantage. For all they know, that Mystical was a really good play. But I based on what's in my hand, it really wasn't that good. So I'm going to take 2 here from Failure. We're getting a little bit beat up. And they're respecting Subtlety, they're respecting Mystical Dispute. From their perspective, this looks pretty good. They're hitting us for 2 every turn, but they're not hitting their land drops. We are. I think I have 5 mana Wistfulness here. Yep, that's exactly what I do. And draw Dismember, that's pretty good. That's a 1 mana play that takes some pressure off. Although it does hurt quite a bit if I play it for 1 mana. All right, so the opponent finally plays Teferi, and they have to minus it. So it's not a threat to minus any of our creatures again for a while. So even though we're a Living End deck, they have Teferi in play. Like, I'm so far ahead on mana, and we're even in cards. Like, this isn't the end of the world. And all these cards are reasonable to play on my turn, too. All right, well, they do bounce the Teferi, and so, yeah, I did forget to mention that. They are going to get a counter here. They're going to get their Teferi back up to 4. I think what I do is I get a land here. We Superior Spider-Man targeting Deceit, right? Yeah, all right. So this is the power of Superior Spider-Man. It's a 4-mana double-kicked Deceit. I think what I do is I bounce the Teferi, and we'll see what they discard. All right, so let's get rid of all the known cards. All right, so now their hand at this point is Consign, Quantum Riddler, Consign, Overlord. They're really strapped on blue and black mana. So we can leverage that probably into a win here. It's 4 cards versus 4 cards. I think my cards are a little better than their cards. And I do go down to 2 life to get rid of that failure. Opponent casts Overlord, getting back. Let's see what they get back here. They picked up a Flicker Wisp, which is once again just rough on their mana. It costs all the mana they have to Flicker Wisp. We draw Deceit, which is great. I think I chose to just exile their Overlord here. I knew they had a Consign, but I still, this really encourages them to use Flicker Wisp, and I can subtlety that. And then I'm just way in the driver's seat. They do burn their final Consign, but I've got a bounce spell in hand. They have to block both my creatures somehow, and they just can't do it. We know they don't have any white cards in hand. All right, they did actually find Solitude, but they can't take it. And from here, we bounce a permanent and attack for lethal. We're back after that recording of round number 5. I just couldn't risk letting my computer crash out and destroy the league, because I know you guys are ruthless and you demand to see blood at the hands of the Living End deck. Anyway, we've gotten our 5 chests. Really, that was like a 5-0 league, because I don't count Tron as a deck, even though it's a deck and a lot of people play it, and I always lose to it. But we repress all those memories. We have a perfect record. I will open these for you people still watching. This is probably like the longest league I've ever played. I didn't really have any fun just because the games kept dragging on and taxing my computer and my sanity, but it was a little bit fun. We almost won that Emrakul game. Okay, well, we don't get pictures, but Night Howler, a card I used to play in Standard back in RTR Theros. Dragon Whisperer is a card I bought like 12 of when it came out because I thought it was going to be great, and then it just crashed and never went up. Lion Sash, somewhat playable card. Elder Dragon War, Profane Tutor, kind of playable in some versions of like Legacy Storm. No, that's a different card. That's the artifact. This one, not that good. And a Weathermaker. All right. There's Seed in the Skies. Thanks for watching, everybody.